Okay, the moderator is Kemi, Miss Kemi Olawe. She in the building. She's not here
Okay,
yet.
she's not here.
It's
Ito,
Ugochi
come
this
closer.
time.
Yeah, come closer. Okay. Okay. Right, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I know you all have very busy schedules, so having you here today is amazing for us. One of the reasons why I wanted us to have the panel on health is because it's one thing to have children with special needs, another to really understand that there are medical implications, there are things that we need to know. And so I just felt we needed to bring this crop of professionals to throw more light. We have Toyin, she works in nutrition. We have Dara, is a first aider. And very interesting and very important to this particular segment, Blessing works in the area of occupational therapy. And you'd agree with me that it is really important for children living with special needs. So I'll give you all little time to just briefly introduce yourselves to us so that they'll be able to know how to ask you questions.
Okay. My name is Leslie Ogo. I'm an occupational therapist. I work with kids with learning and physical disabilities. I'm also the head therapist, sensory care therapy center.
Okay.
Darian Fosler is my name. I'm a first aid trainer, an occupational health and safety practitioner, and an emergency responder.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Toyin Onibanjo. I'm the founder of August Secret. August Secret is a unique child nutrition company. We produce cereals all from natural food, and for children with special needs as well.
Okay, so I'll start with you, Toyin. I remember that when I reached out to you, one of the questions I asked you was, have you ever had clients who have children with special needs, and how do you come up with solutions for them? So I'd like you to share, just in case, because we actually have some parents and teachers in the house that work closely with children with special needs. What are the best ways they can improvise? Because from what you've mentioned now, you use natural foods, right? Please, could you just throw more light on how this can help these children?
Okay, we have mothers, parents who have children with special needs, and the major questions that we get are usually around, gluten sensitivity, lactose intolerance. So we have various kinds of dietary conditions that are attached to different special needs.
Yeah.
So could be autism, could be any kind. And just like one of the previous speakers said, the first thing we need to do is to deal with them like they're children. So what we do is to develop recipes. I am basically a recipe developer and I have a background in nutrition, but we have nutritionists who have already and dietitians who have already developed a nutritional need. To say that this is the window of the kinds of foods that they can eat. So it's our duty to develop the recipe. So what we do is to say, okay, if they can't take milk, for instance, what are the other options that they can take?
Okay.
Or they can only take beans, a certain kind of beans. And then the mother is like, so I don't know, where do I start from? My child cannot take, we have mothers and parents who even as much as have to import food, into the country just because, for their children to eat. So we're saying that, okay, if your child can't have bread, there is a certain kind of, bread that we can make for the child, and there is a certain way we can teach you to make this food in an attractive way for those children. So that's basically what we'll be doing, but we don't just work in isolation. We would have to ensure that the nutritionists and the dietitians have done a proper diagnosis, because that's not our own area, so we don't delve into that. We just develop fun recipes, make the foods attractive, and trust me, it's been working.
Yeah, I can see from your Instagram page, I can see it's really working. How many of you follow August Secrets on Instagram? You need to check it out. If you have a picky eater at home, trust me, by the time she concoct something, that picky eater is going to finish everything. So I'll move to Blessing. Blessing, please, could you share more light on the importance of occupational therapy? In fact, how I got to meet you was because I had a friend who you had worked with a child, So just share more so that people understand, because sometimes I think because of cost, a lot of parents try to avoid that aspect of things, but it's actually important. So share more on that, and then also let us know what are the cost-effective ways parents can also go around this.
Okay, I'll make it as simple as occupational therapy basically work with activities. Occupations means activities, and basically is the human being now is made up of, his activities are made up of self-care, work and productivity, leisure and play. So we come in to make sure this individual is going through his basic daily activities without any restrictions.
Okay.
And then within the limits of his or her disabilities, that's what occupational therapy is all about. So for kids now, for pediatrics, we focus on helping the child reach his or her milestones. It could be cognitive, it could be learning, it could be play skills, it could be speech work. So we come in, we look at the child's challenges, and then drop therapeutic activities to address these issues. So I would say it's cost effective because we occupational therapy cuts across all. It cuts across physical therapy, speech work, and all. Also, it just also psychotherapy. So it's like a blend of all. So it just depends on the child's challenges.
She's late.
So now, for example, let's say a child with cerebral palsy that has challenges with maybe challenges with not maybe sitting or crawling. We bring out activities we drop activities to help the child
to achieve the milestones.
Yeah. And then also involve the parents to make
it easier
for the child.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So we put our hands together for her. So Dare is a first aider. Yesterday in the Safety Mastery for Schools training, he was so interactive. I'm going to share videos on social media. Please ensure that you're following us on Instagram and on the Facebook group, because we'll be sharing lots of information in the coming weeks. And Kenneth has graciously offered to do a webinar also on this topic. So please find a way to get connected so that we can keep you updated on that. So Dare was so interesting yesterday. I'm sure those that were in class felt the vibe. So I would like you to share with our audience, what are the basic first aid tips that we should have? You know, there's something that happens here in Nigeria. When somebody just falls, everybody begins to pour water, as if pouring water is a solution. So please, could you just, in your own words, based on the work you've done, so what are the common things that you see, and what is the advice you would prefer so that people can be better able to respond, basically, when they have a situation?
Okay. There are a lot of conditions that one, but for basic first aid, the major focus is on cardiorespiratory issues.
Okay.
Okay, because at the point where someone stops breathing, you have about 4 golden minutes to do the right thing. And for every 1 minute you delay not doing the right thing, the chances of survival reduces down to about 10%. That means that everyone should learn first aid. Like I said, the focus is usually on cardiopulmonary issues. So if you have 1 minute to learn first aid, you want to learn how to resuscitate someone. And talking about children generally, because kids love to play, they are not at the very high when it comes to risk of cardiovascular issues, or respiratory issues, yes. So for kids, especially kids with special needs, becomes vulnerable, like we've discussed in the morning. They are vulnerable to certain conditions or injuries, and so everyone should learn first aid. And in schools, teachers should learn first aid. And the team I work with will go a step further. not just the teachers, but the students themselves. Because sometimes the kids are alone, and then there's a condition or there's an emergency. What do? Although the priority is usually on safety for them, on how to reach out to an adult, and also on how to advise the adult. Sometimes some of these adults do not even know what to do. So cardiopulmonary resuscitation is what you want to learn. Bleeding control is another thing you want to learn. And for children, choking and drowning is key.
Very important. Thank you so much for that. Dr. Debo, please would like you to share with us, what are the major medical concerns you've noticed in terms of children with special needs, the major complaints or the major challenges you've seen that parents have, and then how can you advise on how they can maneuver it?
Thanks for that question. So I would like to say mostly those challenges come in two groups. So there is understanding the needs and then coping with the needs. So if we look at understanding the needs, with most parents that have special needs children, there is that inadequacy of services to help one make the diagnosis, let them know exactly what the problem is. So that shortage really significantly affects parents. So you normally have parents kind of tell you how they've been to multiple places and how they've not been able to get much solutions and stuff. So that aspect is a serious one. Now, when that understanding of the needs have been really acquired, then coping with those needs becomes another issue, because now there's the mental aspects of it in terms of there's a lot of motivation that is needed to keep, a certain amount of energy that is needed to cope for these needs. And again, when we look at that, there isn't enough support structures. Like you could count the number of support groups that we have in a city like Lagos, for example, for parents with special needs. So at that level, I think mostly what we have are issues relating to access, and then the coping mechanisms are really, really difficult to sort of come by. So if we could beef up those areas, I think there will be significant impact.
Okay. So support systems. Yes. Okay, thank you so much for that. Now the floor is open. Do we have questions from the audience? Oh, please come very quickly.
I want to ask, what can we really do to stop all these giving birth to special needs children, if there's any bill? And how can we really help society to take care of all the ones we have around us?
Okay, so Dr. Debo, as a doctor, you're going to take this aspect, but just hold on, just take note of the question.
So this question is for Dari Akifosile. With reference to safety for special needs children, what do we do when they have seizures, or, what is that thing, there's this thing about seizures with children, especially those who have intellectual brain.
Okay, so Dari, take a note.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here, down from Ogun State.
Oh wow, thank you for coming all the way.
I'm a mother of cerebral palsy child to say 9 years old, and I'm a teacher. For the time, for the moment that talk about diets, you say you have recipe. You know that there's some bread they can't take. So I know my son like bread and tea so much, but sometimes when I give him that white bread, I notice that the sugar increases. So I started stopping eating bread, and I started eating his meal, soya beans. I have cereals that I made for him, and he takes it very well. And there's no food he doesn't take at home now. And for the vocational therapies, where we are in Ogun State is not encouraging for us at all. So then I'll come down to Yaba, sometimes down to Lagos Teaching Hospital, sometimes when I go home, sometimes I meet too, I'll get sick. And I'll get sick for 3 weeks,
and it will affect him again. So I have to learn some things to help him at home. And if I see somewhere that I can have training, there are many children suffering like that in my area that always cry when I go to their house. If I can have training for all this, I would like to have them at my home also as my children. Thank you.
Okay, question. You take note of that.
Just have one question relative to parents in all your different areas as far as health and therapy, safety, and medical. What type of things work as far as educating parents at different schools to help them with the process?
I just came back from Ife 2 days ago, and two families. A month ago I assessed them, and I had to because the both of them, the kids are mid-level. One is mid-level, one is mild. It's just two. That really got me worried because I was like, as the more we give him, the harder I guess to correct it. So I had to tell them to wait, and then I had to really scout for therapists around Ife. And then I went there 2 days ago to train them. I drew up the IEPs and I gave it to the therapist. But the therapist, they live in the homes of the parents, and it's expensive. So what I decided, but I just did it like a write-up, or I would say a project, because I'm currently doing my master's, and it's about the Kawa model, and in the Kawa model, I thought of this, what she just said now, group therapy, to teach parents on how to work with their children.
Yeah.
And then a therapist coming in once a month, and this will be for inaccessible areas, like she said. But it's a huge one, but it's something that I have in mind. But for her, for these two parents in Ife, what I intend doing, to keep up with the progress of the child and to supervise the therapist, each day they bring in, there's a voice note and also a video to show, what we've done, and so that I correct, and then they continue. And then do I need to come down? What I agreed with the parents was every 2 or 3 weeks I go down to see this child. Yeah, so they splitted the cost, and let's see how it goes.
So can I please ask that you do something, craft something for this particular lady, since she has come up to talk about it? Is it possible to find a way to just...
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Okay. Dr. Debo, your own question.
So there are 2 questions, but I want to take up from where she said.
Can collect the mic because you're next.
Solutions for parents. I think we generally now need to start looking at more scalable solutions, thinking about e-learning, such that the content that is created can be shared amongst multiple people. Yeah. And if we can really try to ingrain a lot of offline to online type engagement, so we'll have workshops, but those workshops will be video workshops with facilitators. That way, even the parents who have kind of had significant experience can now become facilitators in their local regions.
In their regions.
For me, I'm of the philosophy that healthcare and care generally needs to move from these centers of excellence into the community, and the only way that can happen is if we get community engagement done properly. So a mix of e-learning, some video content that have been aggregated. Most times you don't even need to create this video content from scratch.
Yeah,
they're on
it's
YouTube,
already
they're
existing.
on the internet. But aggregating them together and getting a facilitator who can help, kind of just be the...
Just kind of supervise,
this whole gap between having the right types of specialists for this, because we have a significant shortage of specialists in that domain. But to the first question that was asked, how preventable it is to kind of halt the process of getting a special needs child. I think we need to kind of understand that to a great extent, a lot of these incidences are not avoidable. Some are. So we have the special needs kids that become special needs because of something that happened after birth. So maybe the kids with cerebral palsy that, birth asphyxiation, there was something wrong while giving birth to them, and that led to their condition. But there are some, for example, when we look at the autistic spectrum, for example, most of those things are kind of genetically linked. And, if we want to start going advanced methods of can we screen our children before birth, the amniocentesis and other advanced screening methods that they can use to test the child in pregnancy. But then with our cultural with the culture around here and our religious approach to things, it now brings that question of, so you're 5 months pregnant, you find out that this child is likely to be, a special needs child. Can you abort? The country's laws don't even, go towards that. So, suggest.
Okay, Dari.
Okay, for seizure, one thing that is also important is to protect the child at the very first instance of seizure. And because it's even more challenging for a special needs child, because some kids, as they grow up, could recognize that early signs of a seizure, and sometimes can actually come to the floor to have a seizure. But for special needs kids, they may not be able to do that, and that is why supervision is very important. But basically, once a child is having a seizure, all you need to do is to protect from physical injuries, part between the head and the floor. Do not force spoon into the person's mouth.
Take notes, everybody.
Do not force spoon into the person's mouth, into the child's mouth. It's one thing they could actually experience while having seizure is compromised breathing due to lockjaw or secretion of saliva in the mouth. But that isn't a problem. All you have to do is monitor them while they're having the seizures, protect them, and when the seizure subsides, give them other care that is required. And for parents, it is very important that parents identify some of these conditions and have basic first aid knowledge. And we've done that before when we trained about 600 kids. What we also did was to train about 200 teachers and their parents. And some of them came and it was good. So we'll encourage schools to organize seminars for parents apart from the teachers. So when the next time the school is having training for teachers, for safety, for first aid, emergency preparedness, let them invite the parents to attend also. Thank you.
I think that's a really important one, inviting parents to be a part of these things. It's not just enough for just the children and teachers in school. Parents need to be brought on board.
I really must commend parents with special needs children, because we deal with them almost, every now and then. But like I said before, first it's about diagnosis. It's not just enough to say, oh, I stopped giving this, now it's next to give this. First, once there is a proper dietary, I'm trying to find the right word, but there is a certain diet already prepared for the child to take. The next challenge is usually, okay, how can I make this food attractive to the child, or how can I get this child to take them? So for certain children, for instance, that can't chew, we can sort of puree the food. So for instance, we have potatoes, and maybe we have other children who can take maybe the potatoes in a steamed form, or boiled, or even baked or fried. It's, we could try to puree for the, children who have, special needs that can't chew. The most important thing is for them to have the potatoes in their tummy, and they'll be fine. And then again, depending on how, for some children who have special needs, it could be the need for their eating could be sort of linked to sensory. For instance, if the child, for some children are actually visual learners, they would be happy to have orange juice, for instance, because it's orange. You would be amazed that that same child who rejected a kind of food may just be because the food doesn't look attractive. So maybe we could try to add vegetables, bright colors. You'll be amazed that, the child will take it. So the same food, but, just made in a bit of a different way, more attractive. I know it's really not easy, easier said than done many times. But then again, just like my colleague said about training for parents, I mean, this is something that we would really like to do. And I'm saying that maybe if you're going to IFE next time, or maybe any other sort of like, less, reached communities, we would be happy to do that, because these are things we do all the time. I mean, online and all of that, but not all parents, have access to this. We make foods, we use cookie cutters to make, the same snacks, the same bread as well. You can use soya beans and maybe sorghum to make a kind of delicious bread. You can use honey maybe in place of sugar, just some very, amazing foods and recipes that would still meet the nutritional needs of these children, but made, in ways that are really attractive to the children. So we would really be happy to, go on, because we do community outreaches as well. We show mothers, how we have mothers who, in some of those communities, who sell out their food produce, and they don't know that it's good for their children. So they sell them out, and then they're like, oh, I don't know what to give my child. So we teach them, using all the available foods, around them to sort of, show them, more options, better options on how they can feed these children, in less stressful ways. And the children also have the daily, nutrition requirements that, they need.
Please, can we put our hands together for our panelists?